In the last year, credit card debt rose to a record $1.2 trillion. In fact, every quarter it seems to notch a new high.
Right now, millions of people are drowning in bills that they just simply can't pay. Maxed out credit cards, sleepless nights, and the relentless stress as the interest just keeps piling up at a faster rate than most can keep up with. The average balances are higher than ever, and the late fees and collection calls are brutal. One thing that people are doing is they are going to social media and talking about it to find comfort that they're not the only ones, and also searching for resources to hopefully one day make it better.
$57,139. That's how much credit card debt I personally have as of February 23rd, 2025 as a 38-year-old. Well, almost 38-year-old. I turned 38 on Saturday. And this does not include my husband's credit card debt, our car loans, our mortgage, or my student loans either.
That is just $57,000 just in credit card debt. She said it doesn't count the cars or the mortgage, nothing, just $57,000 in credit card debt alone. That is, how does that even, I mean, I know how it happens, but damn.
I'm $28,467.79 in debt. That should be so scary to say on the internet, but I'm not scared because I know that I view finances differently now and I manage my money a little bit better. The girl who got into that debt, she did not give up. I opened up my first credit card like 5 to 6 years ago and I racked up $20,000 within like 3 years. I wish I could say it was all because I needed to. I wish I could say it was because of COVID, but no, I went to Europe like 3 times. I went to a lot of festivals. Girl, I was reckless. But I had a lot of fun.
You know what though? At least she knows. She sounds like she's owning it and she's like, this is how much credit card debt I have. I know that I f***ed up. I am here to make it right. I'm taking you on a journey with me, paying it off. But man, went to Europe 3 times with a credit card. I think that's part of the problem. Credit cards just make it too easy to do anything for a lot of people.
There were a couple of things that were necessary on there, but not really. There was just a lot of justification going on in my purchasing. We're breaking that habit and we're doing better now. So I had 2 Capital One cards with a $10,000 credit limit that I hit, that I maxed within like the first 2 or 3 years. I did 0% interest on each of them for the first 16 months. So I just find in my head, I don't need to pay this, blah, 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 you know, like I'll pay it off eventually. Nope. Then the 25% interest started and I was crippled with $800 worth of interest alone monthly. So if you've ever been in debt before, you know that that is like crippling, like in all aspects of your life. It just takes over and it's so heavy. So I finally kind of came clean to my brothers and I was like, I'm drowning. And they are saints and they help me out and the whole family does. I'm really blessed. So with their help and their advice, we did a balance transfer of my $20,000 worth of credit card debt over to a credit union. APR on that is 12%. So I have now paid off about $4K in that. So I'm currently sitting at $16,582 worth of credit card debt, and that's $178.66 per month.
Good for her. It sounds like she's really on the right track.
As of today, I am $8,107 in credit card debt, not including student loans, but we're going to ignore that for a little bit longer, and I do not like it. So my goal this week and also subsequent weeks is to really grind it out and get this shit paid off. The goal is to make an extra $1,000 a week with Instacart, which would be $142 a day, so we'll see about that. But with the holidays and stuff, I feel like that's pretty doable. So I'm at Kroger, I have a Pepsi, I have a bagel, oops, added $1.89. I accepted my first order at 12:12 and delivered it about an hour later for $14, so slow start. Part of that was really—
See, this is awesome. She has a goal. She's like, I have all this credit card debt. I am going to pay it off. I have a goal to do $1,000 a week doing Instacart, which is $142 a day, so that she can get her debt paid off. That I love to see. There's not a lot of people out there that are actually willing to do the work needed to fix the debt. They just would rather ignore it. And I mean, I get it. I understand. I have been in crippling debt before. The last thing you want to do is own up to it and face it every single day. And it looks like that's exactly what she's doing. So I commend her for that. A lot of people would just want to hide their head in the sand and pretend it doesn't exist. And a lot of people even stop paying and hope that it just goes away, but it doesn't. It just gets worse.
We are no longer paying off debt the Dave Ramsey way. Hi, I'm Krista. Me and my husband are paying off $27,000 worth of credit card debt, so let's chat about it. First, I want to say, does the Dave Ramsey method work? Yes, it's a tried and true method, but I don't think it's the only method out there.
I agree. I used to be a big Dave Ramsey fan. So when we didn't have a lot of money and we were working our way out of debt, Dave Ramsey, his book, Total Money Makeover, was like, it was right up there with the Bible, right? But as time has gone on and I have learned more and I have been smarter about finances and how exactly to make money work for me, I do tend to think that Dave Ramsey is a little bit out of touch. In my opinion, a lot of the methods that he preaches today are a little archaic compared to the new world that we're living in, but it still does work. There are many ways to get control of your finances, and there are many methods to paying off debt. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. A lot of people that really have no self-discipline with money, that really don't know how to handle it, I think Dave Ramsey is good for them because it is a very straightforward outline, no exceptions. This is what you do. It leaves very little room for straying and getting off track. But for some people that have a little bit better grip on what they want and need, I feel like there are other methods to paying off debt that's not exactly the Dave Ramsey way.
And for us, it just did not work. It kept us in too much of a scarcity mindset, which was not helpful to our situation. We found that we were starting to put more money back on credit cards, and it was just not helping. So we have decided that we much prefer an abundance and growth mindset where we have a plan to work towards, but we can also allow for things we want along the way while we're paying off debt. Will this slow down our journey? Maybe, but it feels better for us. We got super burnt out going balls to the wall, paying off debt. So these are some non-negotiables for us that was not allowed in the Dave Ramsey method.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I view like paying off debt and handling money almost like a diet. So if you are super aggressive at paying off debt, it's the same as like going crazy calorie restriction or no carb. And when you restrict yourself and you don't allow yourself to have something, you want it even more. If you're on a diet, you tell yourself, I can't ever have a cookie, you're gonna end up eating half a package of Oreos. You get what I'm saying? Same thing goes with finances. If you are eating beans and rice for dinner every day and throwing every cent that you have at debt, you're more likely to put money on credit cards when you decide to splurge, and that makes your problem even worse. So I totally get what she's saying about the scarcity mindset, because when you live like you have no money, even if you do have money, it's gonna mess with your head a little bit, and it's probably gonna cause you to binge. And you'll end up spending money, you'll find excuses, you'll go deeper into debt. So I do think that it is good to give yourself a little bit, not reward, but a little bit of pleasure in your journey. That way you're not miserable the entire time. You get what I'm saying?
1, we want to have adventures with our family. Some weekends it might be a free park or a bike ride or swimming in our pool when the weather gets better, but we're also going to allow for family trips. Are we going to Turks and Caicos? No, maybe one day, but can we drive to San Diego and do a beach trip with our boys? Absolutely. Are we going to eat dinners out? Yeah, because I don't want to cook every night. That's a non-negotiable for me. I'm tired when I get home from work. But it's in the budget and it works for us. Am I going to get a coffee out? Yes, but not every single day like I was, because that's definitely not in the budget. I feel like when we did the Dave Ramsey method, we did not have a lot of balance. It was all paying off debt and no fun. And I feel like the way that we are doing it now is way more feasible for us and our family and our situation. I just want to remind you that journey is just that, your journey, and you should be doing what works best for you. There is no right or wrong way to have a debt-free journey, and you should do what works best for you and your situation. So if you're feeling judged or anything like that from a debt payoff community, maybe that's not the community for you. And that's okay. We're all here, we're all on our journeys, and we will all get through it one way or another.
People are absolutely going to social media and being a part of communities to discuss debt and what to do about it, which is something I absolutely love to see, because dealing with crippling debt can be very shameful and very lonely. And I agree, there should never be any judging. Nobody is going to nail it the first time they try. We're just all trying to do the best we can in this rat race.
I filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy in May of 2024, and I'm almost a year out, so here are some things I wish I would have known. After your 341 hearing, no news is good news. No news is good news. You don't want to hear anything. There's one step after discharge, though. There's actually closing your bankruptcy. That I did not know. We could not get into our mortgage portal until our bankruptcy completely closed. Just a rule stipulation with them. But that was a piece that I was not aware of. You do not have to wait for discharge to start rebuilding your credit. In some places, you can buy a car the day after you file bankruptcy. We bought a newer vehicle with a better interest rate, and it's so much nicer. Right after our discharge came.
Okay, the problem I have with this, though, is you literally filed bankruptcy and then hopped right back into debt. Why? Why do that? The whole reason, at least I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole reason that you file for bankruptcy is to erase your debt and have a clean slate. Why did you immediately hop back into debt? I mean, I don't know this girl's whole story. I don't know if she needed a car and they, were forced to finance one, but that just doesn't seem very smart to me.
Have the link to the place I bought my car. They only work with the lenders that work with the bankruptcy people, and they're amazing. You do not lose everything in a bankruptcy. You choose what is going to happen, for the most part. The entire thing is a roller coaster of emotions, but you need to look towards the light at the end of the tunnel, because that light is the fresh financial start you have to rebuild and build wealth and look to the future. Because when you are stuck in a place of just trying to survive, this is an option. If you can't budget your way out of it, look at bankruptcy. It's an option. And like I said, if you're looking for an attorney, my attorney's network is right here. It doesn't cost anything. It's a free consultation. You find a lawyer, you get your information, you decide if it's right for you. If it is, great. If it's not, great. But don't discount bankruptcy, because it's not horrible. We're thriving. We're doing good. A year out from bankruptcy.
I do see a lot of people talking on social media about bankruptcy being this clean slate and the best way to go about handling debt. And my opinion and my experiences, definitely talk to a bankruptcy attorney before making that final decision, because sometimes, depending on your circumstance, just paying off your debt might be better, especially because there are a lot of kinds of debt that cannot be put on a bankruptcy. So keep that in mind.
Let's discuss our total debt. Hi, if you're new to my page, my name is Tiffany, and my husband and I are taking you on the journey with us to pay over $55,000 in credit card debt that he knew nothing about until recently. Now, today we're going to discuss...
Your husband didn't know about the $55,000 worth of credit card debt you had? My husband would have slaughtered me if I was hiding $55,000 worth of credit card debt from him. Holy cow, how could you not tell your husband about that? Oh man, oh man.
So first we have our vehicle. We only owe on one vehicle, and the total amount owed on that is $60,925.69.
Oh God, $60,000 car loan. I know, $60,000 is just paling in comparison to some car loans out there. I know, but holy cow, $60,000 for a car loan on top of $55,000 worth of credit card debt? That made my heart race a little bit.
I have a student loan, and the total on that is $19,478. And then our credit cards all together, we owe $32,579.19. We have a personal loan. It's $1,973.21. And then we owe the IRS a total of $15,913. Now that IRS is actually 2023. We owe about $6,400 from 2023 and then 2024 together. So total it's $15,913.
Oh my God. Now, that's a completely different kind of debt that I don't hear people talk about often. Usually when people are talking about debt, they're talking about credit card debt, personal loans, car loans, mortgages, like the obvious kinds of debt. There's a lot of people that don't talk about IRS debt. That would keep me up at night. Talk about stress and anxiety, crippling debt. That is when you owe money to the IRS. Ouch.
So altogether, we have a total debt of $130,869.09. Now, the reason we started this journey and really sat down and started budgeting, one, I needed to get real and I needed to get honest and I needed to tell my husband the truth about our finances. And two, we want to purchase a home, if not by the end of this year, for sure, hopefully by March of next year. Right now, we're just watching like the interest rates and all of that good stuff. And so we've decided to tackle our credit card debt first because of the interest rates, the high interest rates and all of that on a lot of our cards, which now we have actually worked out to all of them almost being 0% interest, which is great and made a huge difference. We have paid off over $22,000 on our credit cards since starting this journey in February. So if you have any questions or any tips, one thing, please don't come at me about our car because like I said, it's the only car that we have that we actually owe on. I know it's expensive, but we enjoy it. It's a family vehicle. And when we travel, we all roll deep.
So a question that a lot of people might have is how exactly do you get your credit card down to 0%? Most times when people do this, they're doing just a simple balance transfer where they will open up a new card or they will get an offer on a credit card that they already have where you could do 0% balance transfers for a certain period of time. And that is actually a way that you can send credit card debt to another credit card and get a 0% interest rate for a certain amount of time while you pay it down. That is actually an option that a lot of people don't necessarily think of, maybe because they don't know it exists. I know that I personally didn't really realize how powerful balance transfers could be with credit cards back when I had credit card debt, but I do have friends that will do balance transfers when they do have a big chunk of credit card debt that they need to pay down and they want to have a 0% interest rate. So that's another little tip for you too if you're working to pay down some credit card debt. Look into balance transfers for a 0% for a short period of time while you pay it off.
This right here, yeah, that changed my life because this is so true. People have so much debt you wouldn't even believe. Like when you really start talking to people, they just casually drop, yeah, you know, like 15 grand.
It's true. People can be so casual about it now because everybody seems to have this massive looming credit card debt over them. It's absolutely outrageous and outlandish, but so common. I wouldn't say people are bragging about it, but people just feel confident to be like, this is how much money I owe. How much money do you owe? Like, it's almost like a talking point. It's crazy.
Dollars? American? Oh, okay. Okay. Like, people really just walk around in massive debt to keep up with this life. And you know what even make it worse is that you really got to sit back sometime and realize your mama was right. You know, whole keep up with the Joneses thing? Yeah. Because, you know, your mom used to be like, well, if Stacy was going to jump off a bridge, you going to jump too? And my ass, I graduated college. I started living that life. I'm right behind her. I'm right behind her. And I did get me a little debt doing that. But you have to realize that, like, oh my God, I feel like I'm turning into my mom. All that glitters isn't gold. It really ain't. It really, really ain't. It really ain't. People got so much debt they don't know what to do with themselves. Don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that mindset because it's so much harder to get out than it is to get in. Oh my gosh, it's like a GPA. It's easier to drop than raise. And a credit score is the same way. But yeah, walking around with massive credit card debt.
If you want to hear something really totally embarrassing for me, I was supposed to have a court date today. Yeah, I ignored a debt collector and they sent it to a law firm to sue me. And yeah, I got sued by a debt collector. And I thought the chances of that happening were like slim to none. Like it was only $1,000. Do they really want to like have to go after me for $1,000? Like what is that? No, they did. They sent the constable to my house with the papers saying that I need to sort this out. Long story short, I settled for 80% of what I owe, and I paid it all off like 12 days ago. Thankfully, like normally I would not have been able to do this, but my husband got a raise at work and it's been great. And yeah, my court date was scheduled for today. Thankfully that was canceled, but that was like the scariest thing I've ever had to do in my life. I was like, I don't just pay, I'll just pay. I'm like, I don't want to have to go to court, I have anxiety.
Today's video is brought to you by my family-owned and operated small business, Kinda Nutty. We specialize in carnival-style cinnamon sugar glazed nuts, including pecans, cashews, almonds, and peanuts. We also have various snack mixes, nut mixes, and sweet treats, including a wide variety of saltwater taffies. Head on over to kindanutty.com and use code YouTube to get 10% off your order today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video and videos like this one, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button. That's the fastest way to let me know. While you're down there, also please do hit subscribe and ring that notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I post my next video. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.